Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? The forum is about to begin. Good evening and Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. I bid to Madam NURHAYATI binti Muhammad Mokhtar and fellow audience. First of all, I would like to welcome you all to this forum. In this occasion, we would like to have forum discussion on a topic which is social media versus real-life communication. Can social media destroy real-life communication? For me, personally, I think the audience would also be agreed on this, that this topic is a very intriguing topic to discuss on. Before we begin our forum, allow me to introduce our four honorable panelists for today that we invited from various backgrounds. The first panel is, we have Ms. NURNAJWA AINA binti Muhammad YUSOF. The second panel, Ms. NURHAYATI binti HASAN. Our third panel, we have Ms. ADRINA binti KAMARUDIN. And last but not least, our last panel, Ms. MASTURINA binti AZMI. Welcome and thank you to our panelists for taking time out of your busy schedule to give up you guys' opinion on today's topic. I hope that all of you are doing well and staying safe in this pandemic. My name is QISTINA binti AHMAD and I will be your moderator for today. So, as I had mentioned earlier, our today's topic is very intriguing topic as the subject is what our society mostly consumes nowadays. Social media has taken the whole world by storm and transformed the way societies live their daily lives. As of October 2021, research has shown that more than half of the world now uses social media, that is 4.55 billion people around the world, which is approximately 57.6% of the world population, and the average daily usage is about 2 hours and 27 minutes. Social networks such as WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, and the recently hyped platform, which is TikTok, are the social networks that societies mostly use nowadays. So there's no way to deny that social media has a big influence on society's way of communicating with one another. Studies has also shown that another 11% of adults reported preferring staying home on Facebook than going out on the weekends to socialize with their friends and family. Hence, with that statement, without further ado, I would like to welcome the first panel to deliver their opinion on today's topic, Ms. NURNAJWA AINA. All right, Ms. NURNAJWA AINA, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you to the moderator, Ms. QISTINA. So from my point of view for today's discussion is what I can see, social media has become a bad influence to people in the use of communication. In this aspect, I would say that social media has bring negative effect to the children, which is children will not be able to develop verbal skills and emotional intelligence. Talking face to face help people understand the non-verbal aspect of communication. Non-verbal aspect of a communication are how the person speaking indicate he or she emotion about what she is talking about. Using social media too much make it harder for people to identify the emotion being expressed by the people with whom they are talking. This make it harder to respond appropriately. With people keeping their heads to their phones more than talking face to face, they are neglecting rudimentary social skills. The way people maintain eye contact and posture and the words they use are all affected by using the phone too much. Even today, there are many people, especially millennial or younger, who prefer to solve work or personal problems via social messaging systems. If a child isn't immersed in verbal language, they will fail to hit their milestones in terms of communication. They will also probably be delayed in saying their first word and all behind their peers very quickly when they start schools. They will then be constantly playing catch up throughout their school years, and this will hold back their education quite severely.
All right, thank you, Ms. Najwa. So from what we gathered, and from your explanation is that you strongly agree that social media ruins real-life communication as it will affect the children's ability to develop verbal skills and also emotional intelligence, which I think is a relevant statement as children nowadays, especially the millennials, are more drawn to spend more time on social media, especially on the pandemic era. Hence, this somewhat will affect the children's brain development and also verbal skills. So let's move on to the next panel. Ms. ADRINA, what's your opinion on the statement?
Thank you, Ms. Moderator. In my opinion, I think that parents should be more responsible to supervise their children. This is to ensure that the children are not doing something negative that can influence them, which includes social media. If the parents know how to control the social media, then it can benefit both the parents and children. It can be seen on the article made by the Times Herald whereby they mention that parents should require their children to give them access to their social media accounts and should also regularly sit down with their child to review what social media their child is using, ask what the purpose is, and ask to see what they are looking at and posting and sharing. This is to prevent the children from searching or learning bad things that can affect them. The children may view this as an invasion of privacy, but in reality, it is simply parenting in the digital age.
Thank you, Ms. ADRINA. So from what we had heard just now, Ms. Alia had an indifferent opinion from Ms. Najwa, as she has an opinion that social media should not be fully blamed on this, as it is also the parents' responsibility to supervise their children's media usage. And I am somewhat agree with that statement. But how about you, Ms. Nurhayati? Do you have anything to add or voice your opinion on that statement?
Thank you, Ms. Moderator. There is some truth to the argument, however, social media is harming the friendship that people have in real life. According to Karina Putman on her article, this happened because people tend to become introvert that they are moved. Yep, cut. According to Karina Putman on her article, this happened because people tend to become introvert and they are more believe what is on their screen than what in front of them. It will decrease their language skills. Decreasing in language is not a good thing in our life. Imagine having a new generation that stutter every time they talk, or the worst that might happen is they do not know how to have a proper conversation between age. It is the reason how a kid can be so rude with a person that younger than them. Like as we know, people that playing games such as Mobile Legend, we can find like a lot of rude players there using the bad words. Or the Instagram, people comment something that out of the line, posting picture that inappropriate. But still, how Instagram can allow such sexy pictures in the media social? Because it is not so-called outright for them. Imagine if a wife found her husband follow a pretty and hot woman in Instagram. Won't it ruin their relationship? Plus, these sites want people to use them as frequently as possible. When they see that they could get more traffic from those people having interaction with their online resource, they jump at the chance to take advantage of the situation. As according to Susan Tardinico, people need to focus on getting into more personal relationships, which will lead to more trusting and open connections in the future.
All right, thank you, Ms. Nurhayati. I'm sure that Ms. MASTURINA has a word or two that she would like to have a say regarding that statement. Ms. MASTURINA, what is your view on this topic of ours today?
Thank you to the moderator, Ms. QISTINA. Firstly, what I would say is social media has become one of the most essential parts of communication, such as during this pandemic, and this could also potentially be a good reason for lasting the relationship and friendship. There is no doubt that social media is bringing people together, even though there are a few negative points of using social media that cannot make us ignore the hundreds of positive benefits. Social media has become a tool of social interaction and brought us closer together as a community by increasing our communication with each other and reducing the gap between us and people who are far away. With this, I believe that revarying our communication methods as a measure of communication despite any obstacle in our friendship or in community as well.
Thank you, Ms. MASTURINA, for your explanation. There are a few points that I find interesting, as she said that yes, even though nowadays we rely on social media as a way to easily communicate with one another, especially during this pandemic. And this could also potentially be a reason for a relationship or friendship to be jeopardized. However, that is not an excuse that, as we should also put effort in maintaining our relationship and friendship by varying our communication methods. And it's just a matter of that person wants or not. Now, I would like to pass the floor to Ms. Najwa. Is there anything you would like to comment on from the previous statement that's been made?
Alright, from my point of view, social media has made an impact by losing human interaction with one another. It is not equivalent to real-life communication and longevity. Social media is highly influenced and can be obtained for someone as young as the age of younger, all the way to senior citizens. Based on the statement made by the moderator before, according to the statistic, around 3 billion people are use social media today, which means that 40% of the world use social media for communication. It is no surprise that this widespread use has social media effects on communication. 11% of adults reported preferring staying home on Facebook than going out on weekends. Communication is affected in ways such as personal expression, our expectation of others, and the way companies communicate with customers. Furthermore, social media also make people regularly. According to the Financial Times, Twitter's chief executive is seriously considering restricting the microblogging platform in order to protect people's rights from the abuse of free speech. Yet, without considering the consequence and without subjecting what we write to a true review, some of us use the internet recklessly in sharing our opinion. Biased information, rushes unethical statements, insults, and cursing have become common on the social media. In this unfortunate situation, we are losing our common sense and neglecting our wisdom. It will be worse if it continues as it is.
All right, Miss Alia, I think you would like to comment on that. Do you have anything that you want to add from the previous statement?
Yes, I want to point out that social media can connect people with many types of applications, such as Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Instagram, and others. You can always reach anyone you want and visually interact with them, no matter how far they are from us. So even if you are busy, you still can call or message your family or friends to know how they are doing so that you will not be too worried about them. In addition, with social media, you can get information and news with what is happening around you. In other words, you will always be updated with the current issues.
So we have an indifferent opinion from both sides. Ms. Najwa claims that social media could affect to a person's lackness of integrity as it is far from a real-life communication. And on the other hand, Ms. Alia disagreed on her statement by counter-arguing that social media is a way for people to interact with their friends and family. Maybe there's any other words from other panels?
Okay, indeed, we can always reconnect people with many types of application, but because of they want to feel reconnect with others people in the media social, it causes people to reconnect with people in the media social than yeah, people in the real life. We all know that people love to spend their time in their media social, that some of them abandon their real life world. For example, a student that abandoned their assignment just to watch their favorite famous Instagram live, or a man that busy with his streamer in Facebook that he could leaving his responsibilities to do in the house. But the worst is that people could abandon their prayer. How can this be?
Ms. MASTURINA, do you want to comment anything on that statement?
Well, Miss Hayati, this is not the case. As we see, while the internet has completely changed the way we communicate, learn, and function in our daily life, there are some barriers to its continued use, especially for children and adolescents. It reduces other important daily activities such as spending time with family and friends, personal social interaction, homework, study time, and physical activity, often overlooked. For example, the serious consequence of too much internet time can have a huge impact on the children. As a parents, it is their responsibility to teach our children how to use the internet carefully as well as how to save while browsing the web. Doing so will help prepare the whole family for success as they surf the web. This applies to all parties, limiting the use of our screen time to avoid distraction from our daily routine and manage our life accordingly.
Alright, thank you once again, Ms. MASTURINA, for that explanation. From what that has been said just now, I think we would all would agree that we must have a limit in every aspect in our lives, not just in terms of social media, as it is our own responsibility to limit our screen time usage in order to avoid distractions from our daily routines and manage our life accordingly. So, with that, we have come to the end of our first session. Thank you to all panelists for your great explanation and opinions about social media. Now, let's move on to the next session. Now that we have learned from both sides' opinions on whether if they think social media is day by day destroying our real-life communication, I would like to ask from the panels if there's any other social media effects apart from just purely for entertainment purposes only. Ms. Alia would like to take the floor first.
Yes, social media cannot destroy real-life communication because it has some positive effects, including increased physical activity, less family conflict, and fewer sleep problems. This is based on the research made by the National Institutes of Health, whereby they made a study about how young people's brain develop. They found out that the children will gain benefit by using social media because it has some positive effect, such as increased physical activity, less family conflict, and fewer sleep problems, while the children who had a higher use of general media like internet, television, and video games were more prone to have worse sleep and more family conflict. This is because kids who use social media still participate in more traditional forms of screen time, but the time they spend interacting with others through social media, texting or video chatting outweigh television, video games, and internet time. It means that with social media, the children can still communicate with others, do activities with their friends, and talk with their family. However, with the children who mostly use general media, they prefer to spend their time by themselves, which means that they do not like to interact with others. Hence, by using social media, it makes the children to communicate more with the people around them.
Ms. Najwa, would you like to counter-argue with that statement from Ms. Alia?
Okay, Ms. Alia, for this point, from my perspective, the impact of blue light Okay, Ms. Alia, for this point, from my perspective, the impact of blue light exposure may be worse for those who wake up to check their phone after falling asleep or higher risk of losing sleep and developing a sleep disorder like insomnia. Social media facilitate an environment in which people are comparing their realistic offline self to the flawless, filtered, and edited online version of others, which can be detrimental to mental well-being and perception of self. Excessive social media use can not only cause unhappiness and a general dissatisfaction life in users, also increase anxiety and depression. Constantly comparing oneself to others can lead to feelings of selfishness or a need of perfection and order, which often manifests as social anxiety disorder. A study conducted by Harvard University found that social media has a significantly detrimental on the environmental well-being of chronic users and their life, negatively impacting their life and academic achievement.
Alright, thank you, Ms. Najwa and Ms. Alia, for you guys' opinion. Both sides has issued some great points. Ms. Masturina, would you like to elaborate more on point?
Okay, however, I'm still saying that social media do not destroy our real life. Social media always can reach somebody and can make visual interact no matter how far they are from us. Through social media, now we can reconnect with all friends and classmates. Even we can communicate with new people with similar thoughts and interests and also can share our views. Using social media tools like Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Instagram brings people closer when they can't always physically see each other. Texting someone through Facebook or any other social media tools allows us to be in touch with anyone anywhere across the globe, also at any point in time. So we can always reach somebody and can make visual interact no matter how far they are from us. Therefore, social media unites billions of people and millions of organizations and individuals across the world. It has become extremely popular because it allows people to connect in the online world, to form a group, a forum, and a community where ideas and information can be exchanged and the individuals is given the opportunity to communicate freely without any geographical barrier. Thus, social media is useful for everything from keeping in touch with friends to dating to research collaboration and political activism. The use of social media is rapidly spreading among different people and professionals, including librarians, lawyers, doctors, marketers, entrepreneurs, and researchers. This is because social media has different applications that enable fast connection and networking among each and every people of the geographical location.
Okay, so from what we heard from Ms. Masturina's statement that social media is the main source for individuals to reconnect with their family and friends from around the world easily without any limitations. I would like to pass the floor to Ms. Hayati to give one or two say about the statements that has been made just now.
Okay, you could put it like that just because we have good internet connection. However, not all people have good internet connection. If most of people are using media social as their way to interact with people, so people with no internet connection mostly like having their life being isolated with each other. Rural people might lose their improvement in online interaction because of them using media social to communicate only, and urban people will lose their way to interact with people face to face. Furthermore, not all people can afford to buy internet to use in their life.
Ms. Hayati, I understand your statement. However, I think that the government are working their ways in order for rural area to have access to the internet. This is because social media is an essential business strategy that use internet. Nowadays, everything is just a click away and includes everything from news to buying your groceries. People do not need to buy newspaper or go to the shop because they can do all the things by the internet. The ease of access that social media provides has taken over the traditional methods of shopping, reading news, and even studying. For example, by using Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, they can know the current issues while they can buy everything with Shopee, Lazada, or other online shop. People also can study on whatever they want as long as they register with the classes as there are many options of online class. Moreover, education too has incorporated forums and social media chat rooms to increase interactivity among students, conduct webinars, and promote events and courses. This is to ensure that the participation by the student and give chances for them to build a social skill and networks with other people, thus it does not destroy the real-life communication.
Alright, both panels, Ms. Hayati and Ms. Alia, has made a great and refuted point on that matter. So I want to ask Ms. Najwa, what do you think about Ms. Alia's opinion?
Well, I think by using social media, we cannot deny that the possibility of being exposed to spiritual threat is high. Our personal information is not safe. The probability of being scammed is higher in social media as the personal information can be spread. Leakage or theft of data, untimely release of sensitive information strategic to the operation of the organization, and theft of intellectual property such as codes can result in severe financial losses and can even force the closure of a company. Other than that, social media also causes misinterpretation. It is because of lack of communication in face-to-face. People are bound to misinterpret certain words or sentences that can appear in a tone of being rude because they do not know the expression of the other person. According to the Rini Edward, PhD Professor Department of Communication Studies, Louisiana State University, a single message can have two content meanings. Misunderstanding can also be about the tone or relational meaning of a message. Our participant report that a text message K of K or OK is thought to be rude or dismissive when it was not intended to carry that emotional meaning.
Nevertheless, my point still stands that social media increases awareness. Nowadays, social media has changed the way we govern by making the process more transparent. Many leaders around the world have used social media to voice their opinion and priority issues, as well as by giving the public a better understanding of the government of the choice. It has also limited the influence of political stakeholders on information that should reach the public. Before the entry of social media into the digital era, traditional media and government were the only source of information. However, this has now changed for the better.
We're almost reaching the end of the forum. Hence, is there any additional point from our panelists that they want to share?
Okay, I want to add something. I know that social media increase media awareness, yet a lot of people still may using the power of social media to negatively to influence people, like mislead people to false conspiracy. Other than that, intend to spread misinformation and hate speech direct toward the ethnic or religious group. As we know now, some of players in the game, such as Mobile Legends, they are conflict between Malaysian and Indonesian people. Both of the country using hate speech toward each other. According to article Media Social and Trend Penggunaan Menurut Islam uploaded by AZMI, this article enlightens some of the critical topics that happen in our life today. The most troubling one is pornography and violence actions. People have access to internet, have easily access to this pornography and violence actions because it's spread around the media socials such as Facebook and so on. Like they are given the link to access the browser that contain the content. Next, fashion. Yes, indeed, media social do enlighten our way of fashion, but not all fashion are suitable with us. What I mean is the Muslim people. As we can see, lot of our people tend to follow the fashion so-called like from the K-pop band, K-drama that they always watch. It's widely spread like almost around the world, but do the fashion good enough to close our aura?
All right, thank you once again, Ms. Nurhayati, for your opinion. And with that last statement from Ms. Hayati, ladies and gentlemen, finally we come to the end of our forum discussion. We would like to say thanks again for all our panelists today that are kind enough to be here with us and share their opinions. Even though today we may not have come to an unanimous agreement on whether social media could destroy the real life communication, I hope that the information that has been shared today will be beneficial. Kau cut balik tak tadi? Aku nak mulakan balik. Cut Okay. Thank you once again, Ms. Nur. Alright, thank you once again, Ms. Nurhayati, for your opinion. And with that last statement from Ms. Nurhayati, ladies and gentlemen, finally we have come to the end of our forum discussion. We would like to say thanks again for all four panelists today that are kind enough to be here with us today and share their opinions. And even though today we may not have come to a unanimous agreement on whether social media could disrupt real-life communication, I hope that the information that has been shared today will be beneficial, and also hopefully the audience would take each of the information with a grain of salt and also with an open mind. Thank you for all of your time and attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.